The end of California. Let's have some fun.
So a wave of home invasions is sweeping over not just Southern California, but other areas of America as well. And while nobody in any of the recent California raids has been busted yet, all of these robberies have one frightening thing in common. Something which most sanctuary city residents claim isn't happening.
You guys and me, you and me, we know. We know. We know.
Here we go again, another night, and more reports coming in of home break-ins, not one, but two through the San Fernando Valley, one of them ending in violence, gunfire.
They took everything.
This was the chaos left behind after burglars ransacked this Encino home a few weeks ago while the family was away, stealing 3 cars packed with anything the thieves could grab.
Police trying to calm fears, neighbors demanding better response from LAPD.
We were coming out of the car. My son immediately said, "Who's that?"
The realization hit fast. Ortiz says the men had just broken into her home and were running off with more than just spare change.
LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell saying that he's promising an increase in patrols in Encino. He believes the string of crimes happening there was connected to an organized crew from South America.
Oh my god, who could have guessed? By the way, that's also, you know, you don't get arrested if you steal for below $1,000. Who could have guessed that if you don't arrest people for stealing things that are less than $1,000, that might turn out to be a bad thing? Who could have guessed?
You were saying earlier, just life in LA.
It's life in LA.
Home invaders are taking over California. I'm not surprised. No one is. I don't believe anyone is surprised. Except, you know, for the usual people. The stupid.
So these recent burglaries in California have yielded no arrests, but sometimes when these criminals get caught...
Oh, look at that. ICE arrests a female burglary ring in Massachusetts. Oh my god. This is so sexist. This is so sexist. You can't say that. This is sexist and transphobic. You can do that. You don't know if they are all female. Well, actually, after Trump signed the thing, they're saying they are female, not that they are women. So there might be men in there.
Turns out they're here illegally. And what nobody's talking...
Oh, who could have guessed? It's just like in Sweden and Great Britain and Germany and the Netherlands and Belgium and France and Italy and Spain and Portugal and Austria. Figured something out. I didn't say any Eastern European countries. I wonder why.
Talking about is this type of crime right here. It is most common in areas of the country that are not only sanctuary cities, but have also defunded and hamstrung their police departments, which explains why many of these criminals are never caught. And police in LA, where this...
Oh my god. Yeah, this is not even stealing. This is basically a riot. This is just looting.
New crime wave is taking place have been preoccupied over the last few months dealing with their own residents who've been rioting and assaulting federal agents every chance they get, causing so much chaos. Officers
start shooting them. The moment a couple of people are dead, they stop. Because they're little kids that don't know what they're doing. These people are all paid actors. Or they're just, you know?
Are no longer around to protect the homes of the law-abiding. But it's not just a lack of police that's a problem. Once you make yourself a sanctuary city, you become a magnet for the worst criminals on earth who just had 4
course.
years to walk in through our
The same as thing is in Germany. The cities and towns where we are so progressive, we are so left, they're all ridden with crime. All. That's why if you're a tourist, stay away from the big cities, unless you like to become the victim of a crime, especially as a woman. Oh my God. If you like being, forcefully taken by a group of men of a certain ethnicity, sure, go ahead, go there. Statistically, that happens twice a day, minimum, in Germany alone.
formerly open border, bringing with them sophisticated tactics local police departments and homeowners have never faced before. Tactics which are now becoming the go-to methods for robbing homes across America by burglars of all backgrounds. And that brings us to the real reason why we've got this wave of home invasions taking over the Los Angeles area. This is a crime that
But not Texas, not Florida. I wonder why.
apparently pays big time, and since nobody gets caught to criminals, that means they should try and do it again. Which means this robbery spree targeting wealthy progressives will likely get worse before it gets better, because the solution to crime is to bring in law enforcement. But oh no, that might mean somebody ends up getting deported, and nobody in California wants that. But this has brought things to a point where being a sanctuary city is now costing its residents big time.
5 people were.
And they don't like that. The moment something affects someone, starts affecting someone, they all of a sudden change their mind on it. I wonder why. I wonder.
Were arrested in Fontana, believed to be a part of a transnational organization.
Look at all these white people. With all the blue eyes and blonde hair. And yes, I'm making this a race thing. If you don't like it, go jump in the ocean.
Burglary ring. Detectives say the 4 men and woman dressed up like delivery workers.
By 1:50, 20 minutes after the initial door knock, 3 men run out with a backpack and suitcase, jump into the same white SUV, and drive off before.
The thing is, they might have worked at Amazon, obviously, and just kept the uniform. That's a possibility. Or they had people working at Amazon, then they just took only uniforms. I mean, I have still my work clothes from back in the day. I can go around and, pretend that, oh yeah, this is, I have to do this and that, you have to let me in or whatever. It works, especially with old people and women and children. Men, not so much. And with men, you wouldn't actually try. That's too dangerous. But all the weak people, yes.
Officers arrive.
So here we've got a foreign theft group operating in a sanctuary city of all places. What a surprise. But as we're learning from the LAPD, once hordes of sophisticated criminals make your state their home, it won't be long before they
Cargo theft? That's something we are talking about, cargo. So trains, trucks. That's a lot. That's a lot of things you have. Wow. I mean, the amount that you steal from a truck or a train, wow, that's huge. Sure, if the train is standing on the rails, waiting for its turn to move, yeah, you can just open the well, yes, of course. I mean, what are you expecting? If they get away with cargo theft and kidnapping, why not attempt it, the M word? Why not? I mean, if there is no police, then you get away with it. It's not hard. It's really not hard.
Teach other criminals the methods of their madness, which, as you're about to see, could cause the entire state of California to collapse.
Well, the LAPD chief says it's possible groups of local burglars who, it appears, are responsible for many of these recent break-ins have now adopted some techniques favored by so-called tourist burglars, the foreign groups that had been behind dozens of home burglaries across Southern California in recent years and had been using their own surveillance cameras to pick out homes to target.
Whoa.
Replicate. That's interesting. They probably got into the system of I forgot how the company is called. The doorbell thingy that have the cameras. They probably got into that system and can see the insides of the house, because they also have cameras, can have cameras inside the house. Nice. It's actually clever. Who could have guessed that these people are clever?
The tactics and MO of the South American burglary crews, using jammers, more sophisticated pre-incident surveillance, where they may have cameras laid out on the property or on a car parked on the street across from the target house for a period of time to be.
So they haven't caught anybody. They don't know who's doing the stealing. They do know that the tactics being used in these new crimes are exactly how foreign theft groups were robbing homes recently, and they do speculate that some of the crimes taking place in a nearby community were all related to a particular foreign theft group. But to be honest with
Who could have guessed? Who could have guessed that all the, organized crime stuff is being run by people from the outside? Just like in Germany and the UK and Sweden and the Netherlands and Belgium and France and Austria. Totally not like Europe. Totally not.
With you, it doesn't necessarily matter, because the fact that California is a sanctuary state allowed these foreign theft groups to come and set up shop in the first place. And when you've got
What, my Sweden? Yes, Sweden is ridden with crime. They have no-go areas where the police doesn't go, because it's too dangerous for them to go into them. Even ambulances, they don't want to go there. Fire trucks, they don't want to go there because they will get attacked by the people there. Now I could tell you who these people are, but I'm not really allowed to. I don't want to get arrested, so I won't. But I think you will know.
Illegal criminals who aren't even supposed to be here, popularizing a new way to break into homes. And
same happens here. I know of one guy in some town in Germany. He's supposed to go back to his country. He's a serial criminal, like he commits crimes all the time. But he doesn't have a passport. He lost it while coming here. He didn't. He threw it away. That's what they all do. And his country of origin is not really working with the German government to figure out who that guy is. Probably because they don't want the criminal back, which is understandable. But he's also not getting arrested and sent to prison for his crimes here. So he's just running around committing crimes because no one is stopping him. And that's not just one person, that's all over the place. POV Western Sydney, yep. That's for example also Berlin. It is full of people like that. All the big cities, they're full of people like that. And certain groups of people protect these people. Because they want them here. A lot of people that want them here are women, because they have sex with them. It's that simple. It's that simple.
steal people's American dream, what do you expect other criminals to do? Of course they're going to pick up on these tactics. Of course they're going to try to do the same thing. And this isn't just happening at people's homes. A few weeks ago, jewelry stores were being robbed in this same part of the country, and the criminals they caught doing this were people in the country illegally. They were using
Yes, of course. What are you expect? Why are we expecting anything else?
jammers. The tactics were exactly the same as what we're seeing at these home invasions.
Chief Jim McDonald told the Board of Police Commissioners today these groups of thieves suspected in a lot of these recent cases have been caught with those Wi-Fi jammers that can disable some security cameras and systems, but he says they've also been cutting telephone and internet or camera cables, and in some cases using this new tactic of dropping a car off on the street with a camera running inside to remotely case a home or neighborhood. He says there's also a sophisticated network on the back end to sell the stolen loot.
So this is exactly what was happening in the recent jewelry store robberies. What happened was criminals cut cables in the street to disable hardened wired connections to a security system. If you have a little Wi-Fi camera, those jammers can take that out. They can also disrupt police radio traffic in the nearby area, which stops the ability of officers to communicate with each other and respond to an incident quickly and safely. This is all very, very dangerous. But this danger...
Where are they getting that stuff from? Well, it's actually not. The thing is, you might be able to buy some stuff like that legally, but there's also the possibility that, you know, there are engineers who know how things work and they build these things for criminals. Specifically, completely underground economy. That's a possibility. Like the cartels would have way more than enough money to finance something like that. It's not really that hard if you are an engineer, an electric engineer, you know, stuff like that, that knows about these things, to build a tool that can do that. It's not that hard. If you know what you're doing. I couldn't. I would have to do way too much research. But yeah, I would guess these are the two options. It's either buying stuff legally and using it for illegal stuff, or underground engineering and production. I mean, you can have these things produced in China and then exported. China doesn't care as long as you don't use it in China. So is Germany. It's mostly the big cities and towns. On the countryside, you're fine. As long as you know, it's the native population is the absolute majority there. Like the absolute majority, not like in some villages in Germany where you have a population of 100 people and then they get 300 asylum seekers there. Put there by the state. Yeah, fun times.
Only exists because of California's sanctuary status. These foreign fugitives came into California, started doing their thing, and now they've caught both illegal immigrants and local burglars using these jamming devices, doing things the exact same way. It's almost like the criminal underworld has teamed up against the law-abiding in ways nobody...
Why wouldn't they? California is literally an open treasure. Just take what you want. Who's going to stop them? No one. There is no police. And the people they rob, they don't have guns because they are against guns. Who's stopping them? No one. So why wouldn't they do it? There's no reason for them to not do it unless they are, you know, oh, I don't want to be a criminal. But they don't care. They want money.
You ever would have predicted. Nobody who thinks being a sanctuary city or state is a smart idea, anyways.
They go after expensive handbags and jewelry and things that are easily be for resale.
Yep.
And then the crews generally transport that stolen property to a warehouse type arrangement, very organized, and then distributed from there.
Yep, that's exactly what they were doing in New York. A pawn shop in New York City was busted, teaming up with a group of people who were in the country illegally, who were robbing celebrity homes all over the country. They take whatever they steal and they bring it somewhere else and they sell it there to get rid of it.
Oh, there are so many teenagers in Australia having machete wars at the shopping center. That's happening in the UK too. So far, I haven't seen that in Germany. But we also have a lot of gun violence and knife violence. Like the murder rate in Germany last year, I think about 14,000 people were, in Germany. That's the highest number they said in 30 years. Which is hard to even believe that back then so many people were, murdered. But yeah, that's becoming the norm here, because the people that think that's they can do that, becoming more and more, while the people that think you can't, becoming less and less. I mean, in Germany, 250,000 people leave Germany every year. And that's the people with money and good education. Leaving people like me behind. The people that, the good people that know stuff, that want to work, can work, or work. A lot of retired people leave the country because you can't live here anymore peacefully. Oh, I saw a guy in my school vaping in the toilets today. That's nothing. I remember in my school, kids were drinking beer before school and getting high and stuff like that. That wasn't the norm. But I also was at a bad school. Why did my mother let me go there? Well, because she didn't care. But yeah, that's... Yes, drinking. Alcohol. Yeah, that's... In Germany, by the way, you can drink starting at the age of 16. So getting a beer, wine, or we call it Sekt, you can do that when you are 16. It's not a problem at all. Yep. I mean, my first alcoholic drink I had officially when I was about 13 or 14 at the Christmas party with my family. I had 2 glasses. That's it. That wasn't a lot. And my grandma and my mother were watching me. They were literally sitting around me while I was drinking. Yeah. Fun times.
And what this probably means is that the criminals who are robbing homes all over Los Angeles, who haven't been apprehended yet, although we don't know who these people are, they're probably using the same fencing networks that were established by illegal immigrants to begin with. So what you have here is, at a minimum, you have criminals who came into America illegally, established a new way to commit crime, built the infrastructure to commit it, and it's now being used by basically everybody. And you better believe that if a new gang wants to use your criminal infrastructure, you're gonna make them pay for it.
They took every...
Of course. I mean, that's clever business. A new gang comes in and wants to, use your stuff. You make them pay for it. That's literally what big companies do. You want to use their facilities or whatever, you have to pay for it. I mean, that's normal.
Everything.
This was the chaos left behind after
Look at this
burglars
place.
ransacked this Encino home a few weeks ago while the
They
family
went in
was
every
away,
cabinet.
stealing 3 cars packed with anything the thieves could grab.
They took our passports, our social security cards, all our jewelry that they could find.
Mari, not her real name, is afraid to share her identity in case they come back because they already have. Just
What?
days after the first break-in, the intruders returned and
It must have been a different group. I don't believe it's the same people because you don't go back. You don't go back. That's too risky.
this time Mari's family was sleeping inside.
They did get into her room.
Wow. That's insane. So this family, who appear to have a fairly nice house, they've been robbed twice. And the first time, they weren't even there, and the criminals got everything plus 3 cars. Apparently, that's insane. But what else did they steal? In addition to valuables, they took something else that's extremely valuable. They took people's identity documents. And what can you do with those? Well, if you're in the criminal
That's very valuable. Oh my god. Oh.
underworld and you're in a sanctuary city, you got a lot of people out there who are willing to pay money to get themselves a social security number or a bogus US passport. And the identities of these people will probably be used to create fraudulent identities for an untold number of future criminals, which means these people are going to have identity theft problems for the rest of their lives because their home got robbed. But as you're about to see, instead of solving crime, it looks like to some residents that their own police department is engaged in a cover-up.
It's just
This is great. Oh my god. Life writes the best stories. This is amazing. This is so fun. This is really, I think this is funny. Because these people voted for this shit. And now they get exactly what they voted for.
one of dozens of residential burglaries in Encino over the past 2 years. Last week, just hours after LAPD told hundreds at a community meeting the number of break-ins is down, there were 2 more confirmed burglaries in town that very night.
Wow.
One, believe it or not, witnessed by Mark.
So as the police are up there saying, crime is down, we've got it, everything's fine.
The thing is, that can't even be true. But it can still happen. Oh, what? Oh, right. For a moment, I thought there was something wrong with my green screen, but it's just my mouse.
Homes are getting robbed and crime is going up. But that's because the police are not only short-staffed, their entire society has aligned itself against law enforcement by making it their mission to protect federal fugitives. And when you protect part of the criminal underworld, it's just going to establish itself. It's just going to grow. It's just going to expand in ways that none of the people who think these criminals aren't real can predict. And part of me thinks that the police don't want to know who these criminals are who are robbing their homes. They'd prefer it if these criminals just made this their last heist and just disappeared off into the sunset, because once we find out who these people are and what they're actually up to, I think it's going to horrify all of us.
Also not her real name, who was at the meeting with her husband.
What does he mean by that? That's a serious question. What does he mean by that? I mean, they could try and push the people out of the area and take it over. For the cartels, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. But how likely is that? Because getting the cartel officially into California, that might be seen by the government as an invasion of a foreign power. And that would mean the military is in on the game. And that would get bloody.
Watch them jump over a gate and run into a car and take off. That was kind of a breaking point for me, where you see that and you're like, it is this bad.
As LAPD steps up its patrols, terrified locals are looking for help anywhere they can, even from the highest levels of government.
Or consulting with you know, Department of Defense contractors to...
What about President Trump? What about ICE? They don't want help from the highest levels of the federal government. And you know something? I feel bad for the local police. You know there are law and order people on the police force, possibly even the police chief, but they know they're operating in a sanctuary city. They know they're operating in hostile territory.
David is ex-Israeli military and a professional paintball celebrity, now training locals. First, they get used to holding and shooting paintball guns that...
Funny, the people that are against guns all of a sudden want to have guns, even if it's just paintball guns. Oh, this is so nice. And hello, Selena. Thanks for the follow. This is amazing. Yes, paintball guys are crazy. I actually like paintball stuff. Would do it myself, but too expensive, and I'm done. But this is insane. The people that hate guns get the guns. So far, so good. Could be better, could be worse.
Look and weigh exactly the same as the real
That's a
things,
paintball gun.
and then practice with real guns at a shooting range.
Exactly what my goal is that they feel comfortable about using this in a situation, and that's where the muscle memory comes in.
If it seems extreme, it is, and they say things will only get more drastic until they feel safe. For now, they have...
This is all the proof.
Things will get more drastic until they improve. So what does that mean? Do they get real guns? Because they basically can't. It's California. It's really hard. So what do they mean? Armed? Will they have armed? Oh, why hurt the bad people when you can just delete them? Yeah. Are you a daily streamer? Not really, no. I can't because injury.
You need that progressive policies are an absolute failure. If you've got people going the home defense route to protect them and their families, well, that's not very progressive at all, is it? You're supposed to sit back and let law enforcement do everything, but we've progressively defunded our law enforcement, and we've progressively decided we're not going to put criminals in jail when they do things that are wrong. But as you're about to see, the real reason all of this is happening has to do with the fact that criminals don't get punished for anything here.
Again, aggressive enforcement for vehicles that have tinted windows, don't have license plates, the kind of situations where by the police not doing what they I think should be doing is what allows people to get away with the crimes they're committing.
Right. So when they do this aggressive enforcement, when they go after vehicles with tinted windows or no license plate, they're not doing that. They're not going after those. It's not very progressive, but police have to start going after criminals for the little things, because if criminals get away with a little bit, they'll get away with a little bit more and more and more and more.
Yes, exactly. That's happening everywhere in Europe, almost. Not East Europe. Because they've learned the lesson from the rest of Europe. They don't want to be like Germany, or Sweden, or the UK, or France.
Pretty soon they're in your home, and no one is coming to arrest them because the police are busy somewhere else. There's just so much crime going on. You essentially teach criminals that when they're teenagers and they steal from a gas station, nothing's going to happen to them. They get great at evading law enforcement. And what do they grow up and do? Well, some of them might grow up and decide to become criminals, and they've gotten a lot of practice at it because criminals don't suffer any consequences for what they do wrong.
Exactly, and that's why they ransack little... I have seen them getting into Apple Store and just emptying it. And no one was stopping them, because why would they? Why would anyone stop them? They wouldn't get charged. If you steal for less than $1,000 in California, you will not get charged with a crime. So you just do it 100 times. 100 times doing that can be $100,000. You will not get charged. Isn't this nice?
Good start, but there's a lot more. We want the use of technology, which costs less than hiring police officers, surveillance cameras, drones, AI, and not just for Encino, every community in the city.
So they don't want to hire police because they don't think police are a great idea. But what they do want...
Police bad. How we stop crime? These people are so dumb.
...is drones and AI. They want ChatGPT to stop criminals from breaking into their house. What's that gonna do? We've already got plenty of video footage.
The thing is, police won't stop someone from breaking into your house. It makes it more likely that they're being caught. That's the thing. You can't stop people from doing crimes unless you arrest them. Stop crime by harsh punishment. Yes, I don't remember the country, but one in Latin America. They basically imprisoned 2% of the population, and the crime got down by 90 or 95%. That's massive. Now, it might be that the guy is turning into a dictator, but I think the people down there wouldn't mind. Just because having crime down at least 90% is massive. Like if we had that in Germany, 90% less crime, wow. Women could finally get out of the house at night again. El Salvador, yeah, that might be it, yes. And the camps in China, the thing is, you get there for, you know, disagreeing with the government. I mean, if the people are happy, then I am fine with it. The thing is, people don't really care in what government system they live in, as long as they don't being, you know, fucked over by the government. People are fine living in dictatorships, as long as the dictatorship doesn't come after them. And that's the thing. If you have a dictatorship and you treat your people well enough and let them have enough freedom, as long as they don't go after you, everything is fine. Everything is fine. But that's rarely the case.
Of these criminals robbing homes over and over again. But what does that show us? It shows us a bunch of people who are masked up, getting away with something before the police show up. You can have all the cameras in the world. Cameras don't stop crime. What you do with those cameras could enable you to stop crime. But recording crimes of masked individuals and playing them back for the news after these things have already happened, well, it doesn't exactly stop that crime, because that crime's over. That crime's been recorded. Yes. It happened. People lost everything. They lost their passports. They lost their cars. They've been bankrupted, and now they're going to have identity theft problems for the rest of their lives. To me, the solution here is pretty obvious. Build a jail. Fill it up. But what do you think? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
I completely agree with him. If you don't arrest the criminals and put them into prisons, the problem will continue. And it's not like, you know, oh, these poor people, let's give them jobs. They don't want the jobs. The jobs are more work for less money. For most of these people. Now, there are people there that would do that. I can guarantee you, because in Germany, we have, when you go to prison, our prison system is focused on rehabilitation. So if you go to prison for a crime for a couple of years, you can literally do get job education in the prison and come out as, for example, a plumber. A plumber? Yeah, a plumber. Or electrician or something like that. That's possible here, and it works. But it depends on the individual. Individual. You can't do that like with a mass rapist. You know, when you have 20 guys that just, you know, raped a bunch of 12-year-olds, you can't do that. You can have those people be free. Norway prisons are insane. Yes. The thing is, depending on the crime, you shouldn't punish all people the same. It should depend on the crime. And also, if someone steals because they are hungry and they haven't eaten 3 days, that's someone else than, you know, I want these headphones, so I steal them. Two different things. So they should be punished differently. And the thing is, if you send the guy that stole the bread into prison, he doesn't care. He eats every day now. It's even better for him. Yeah, that's, you know, that's my opinion. If you agree, you're welcome. If you don't, well, that's your opinion.